from the hill country of Texas. This is One Radio Network. And a very pleasant good evening to you, dear one, and to all the ships at sea. As the sun sets in the beautiful hill country outside of Austin, Texas, you've got OneRadioNetwork.com. That would be OneRadioNetwork.com, and me, I would be Patrick Timpone. We're here every night, 7 to 8 p.m. Central on Fridays, 7 to 9 p.m. with our Open Phone Friday, so join us tomorrow night. We've been having some fun this week, and tonight will be no exception because we are going to have a return engagement with a fellow who does some really cool work up in Idaho. His name is Don Croft, and he's the lesser half of Don Croft and Carol Croft of WorldWithoutParasites.com up in Athol, Idaho, and live from DeSofina's coffee shop in Athol. Hi, Don.
Hi, Patrick.
How are you?
Okay.
Now,
I am an asshole in the morning without my coffee.
I can tell. And,
yes.
you know, Carol told me that, too.
Yeah.
That you were really an Athol, Idaho.
She tells everybody. Thanks for mentioning the lesser half, part 2. That's
well, I thought I would do that for you.
Okay.
We may be joined by Carol later because she had a little midwife thing with the daughter, but if not, you and I will certainly get in enough trouble for two of us
good deal.
Without Carol.
Excellent.
WorldWithoutParasites.com, and I must tell you, as a disclaimer, I do have my Terminator Zapper Velcroed to my leg here on my right leg, right as I hooked up a little Velcro device, and boy, it's just snappy, Don Croft. I mean, you'd like it.
Oh, good.
So I just strap it to my leg, walk around the house, and it's very cool.
Good deal.
The Terminator Zapper. That's really your hallmark of fame kind of thing. That's what's really gotten you guys out there around the world, huh?
Yeah, we put this together right after we got together 8 and a half years ago. And it was Carol's input that finalized it. I'd been working on Zappers for a few years, but since she can see energy, she can tell me what's going on, and she has a lot of insights, too. And helpful suggestions. So yeah.
So when Carol got involved and you started really doing these really lovely materials, the orgone and orgonite and all of that stuff, that's when you really took the Zapper to a new level of a real healing device, right?
That's right. Combined it with Dr. Reich's technology.
Yeah.
Tell
me a bit about him, Wilhelm Reich. You got to love that name.
Yeah.
Hey, what is he really came up with the Zapper? It's been 50, maybe 70 years ago, right? 75 years ago.
Yeah, he came to America in 1938 after being blackballed in Europe. He was a psychiatrist. He was Sigmund Freud's protege.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in the 1920s. And he started healing people, and that angered Sigmund Freud. And
healing them the psychology part of it, psychologically, or
that's right.
Or
he would have remained a psychiatrist if he hadn't been done dirty like that. But he started healing people's mental illnesses, and Freud was more into analyzing than into healing.
Yes,
because people are cash cows for psychiatrists.
Oh yes, we got to have another appointment.
Yeah, right. But there are a few psychiatrists, I have to say, who are intent on healing people, and I'll guarantee that if they are, they know about Wilhelm Reich.
Well, what kind of work did he do that he was getting good results on the psychological level back 75 years ago?
Okay, this is really good. He was also a communist at the time in Austria and Vienna. And that's back when you were either a communist or a fascist in those days. Nobody understood that you didn't have to be either. Mm-hmm. So everybody chose a side. And so these are good people. And he would go to the workers' meetings, and the workers were furious and angry all the time. And he looked at them and said, I bet you they're not having sex with their wives. So he started talking to them individually and persuading them to have sex with their wives. And they stopped being angry. And guess what happened? They kicked him out of the Communist Party. And that's about the right time. Same time Freud booted him out too.
For de-angering the communist workers.
Yeah, right.
That's
exactly right.
That's wild.
Uh-huh.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
Not having sex. So you got to have sex because you're very angry.
That's right.
That's so funny. That's a great story.
But, back then it was a revolutionary idea.
What, to have sex with your wife?
Yeah, in Catholic Europe, you bet it was.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's why so many men had mistresses, because their wives wouldn't have sex with them.
Oh.
After they had children.
I'm glad I'm around now.
Very common.
It's
very common.
Very boring time to be around.
Yeah, I'll say. Yeah. It's better now.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
And then he got into electronic stuff and
no, he got into biology after that, and he started researching. When he was blackballed from practicing medicine in Austria and Germany, this is in the early 30s, he went to Denmark and was able to do it there for a while, but they got to him there also. But when he was in Denmark, he discovered orgone. He discovered that life generates itself spontaneously from nothing, life forms. He took beach sand, heated it up to incandescence, and put it in a vacuum, in a hermetically sealed chamber, not a vacuum. And when he opened it up, and put it under a microscope, it was full of single-cell organisms.
And
various species.
He started with sand on?
He heated the sand up to incandescence. He killed everything. There's no way anything can live when it's red hot.
Oh, I see.
No cysts, none of that stuff. It's all dead.
Uh-huh.
And then he put the sand in a hermetically sealed container.
Yeah.
Okay. So there was no outside influence. He put it in there when it was red hot, and then when he opened it up, days later after it cooled down, it was full of life.
It was full of life.
Living things, right?
Wow.
Right. And Lyndon LaRouche is another guy. He said life is negentropic. We're taught that everything winds down and everything gets used up, and that's just not the way it is. Life generates itself. Life is self-generating. And this works in the economy, it works in a person's health and everything. You hook into the life force, and everything gets better. Orgone is life force.
Oh, I understand. Oh, that's really a lovely concept, and it's true. It's a spiritual truth, right?
Oh, sure it is.
Yeah.
Okay, and the way zapping, the reason I was so excited when I found orgonite, which is a way to change bad energy into good energy perpetually, was that I could see the implications in the whole world, not only in the human body. And one of the first things I learned was orgonite cures radiation sickness. And that's changing bad energy into good energy. And you know how I found out? I sent a bunch of zappers to a guy in Romania who was treating people who had cleaned up the Chernobyl plant. And they all had radiation sickness.
Uh-huh.
And they got well. The symptoms went away just in a few days. Because that was one of the first zappers I had that had orgonite in it.
Had little pieces. That's what the Terminator zapper has, orgonite.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, one of the worst one, he was dying of lung cancer and radiation poisoning. He was on his last legs. He was in his deathbed. And he got well just within a couple of weeks.
That is wild.
Yeah.
So orgonite, is it just a resource that you find in the ground?
No, and here's the thing. A zapper customer of mine in about 1998 said he bought a little device from Carl Weltz, and he spent $500 for it, and it's an orgonite device.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd never heard of it. I was playing around with orgone accumulators before that.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy was mad, and he told me he's mad because when he scratched it, all it's made of was epoxy and some metal particles. So, but a light went on in my head, and I thought, well, this may really be something. So my daughter was living with me at the time. This was before I was with Carol. My daughter could see energy. She was psychic. She was 11 years old.
Just like your wife.
Yeah.
But, it runs in the family.
Yeah, right. Well, this is not Carol's daughter. This is my X1, I call her. This is my
X1.
I had 4 kids with her.
Oh, X1, and you had 4 kids.
Yeah.
So you're the one that keeps attracting these energy chicks.
Oh, and not anymore. No, I mean,
I
when I got with Carol, that was the
in
end
the
of
past.
that.
Yeah.
Oh God, who doesn't? You know what? Anybody who has a good idea or a good product